All right, a very good morning to you, and thank you for joining us for another beautiful edition of the People's Court. The People's Court is the social consciousness that is building. It may be gradual, but it is steadily building, and it's taking over the whole of the communities. Now, what we do right here every Saturday is changing lives and changing what we think, our perspective to life and to the way politics is done in Nigeria. Now, the first segment in Movers Nigeria is always the general petitions on good governance. And don't forget that from the beginning to the end, the people remain the jury. We will open up a talk line for you to be able to air your views. But it's important you understand what we do. When we raise an issue, you don't just let us talk about it. You need to make your views clear on these subjects. All right, without wasting time, I will hand over, to the forum advocate. He's going to introduce the general petitions, and then we will take it from there.
Fellow citizens, the People's Court for this episode is now in session. The People's Court is a radio program. It is a reality court program that does not force litigants to participate, and the court does not use actors, but we as a People's Court arbitration forum present actual cases with real parties and their addresses. The parties are litigants brought to the People's Court by the claimants. The people listening to this program of the People's Court are the jury. The forum advocates and the forum judge are not necessarily people trained in law, but must be people with character, high knowledge, and a sense of justice. Distinguished audience, the focus on this episode of the People's Court is targeted about whether justice is a respecter of person, and we decided to capture this critical issue in a decided authority by the Court of Appeal in NZUBE jurisdiction. That was the case of Onochie Okafor against Mrs. Eunice Inukwe. This case is a decision where the Court of Appeal was able to show what justice is all about, whether it respects people. And His Lordship Okoro JCA, in that decision, who wrote the lead judgment, the court pronounced on the issue of whether the law is a respecter of person. And the court pronounced us, and I read. Before I end this judgment, let me state here that the law is no respecter of persons. Irrespective of your social status, whether a person commits any thought against another, who may be brought to be, who may be thought to be insignificant, the law is always ready, willing, and able to protect such weak persons from the tyranny of the oppressors. If the court should fail to bring the full might on the respondents, other bystanders or onlookers who applaud the might of the respondent on the poor may wish to test it on others. But today, a clear message is sent that whatever it takes, the law, or whoever takes the law into his hands, no matter his status in the society, no matter how rich he is, the law will fish him out, and the offender will certainly have his day of reparation. I need say no more. That was His Lordship Okoro, JCA, in that decision. We are predicating the program this morning on the People's Court on issue of rule of law. And the general petition this morning pending in this People's Court is a petition by Movement of Voice for Democracy movers to the People's Court. And the question is thus: whether the Action Congress of Nigeria's ACN ethnic cleansing policy executed by the Lagos State government in deportation of some Igbos from Lagos and dumping them at the Onitsha is not unconstitutional. More so, in purview of the earlier proposal by Governor Raji Fashola SAN in his first term of office to decongest Lagos through giving every deportee 3,000 naira for transportation fare to their respective states of origin, meaning that transportation fare from Lagos to any other Yoruba state is less than 1,000. A depicable ethnic profiling of Igbos in Lagos by the ACN leadership. I repeat the petition again. Whether the Action Congress of Nigeria's ACN ethnic cleansing policy executed by Lagos State government in deportation of some Igbos from Lagos and dumping them at Onitsha is not unconstitutional. More so, in purview of the earlier proposal by Governor Raji Fashola in his first term of office to decongest Lagos through giving every deportee 3,000 for transportation fare to their respective states of origin, knowing that transportation fare from Lagos to any other Yoruba state is less than 1,000. A depicable ethnic profiling of Igbos in Lagos State by the ACN leadership. Distinguished participants in the People's Court, the focus of today's episode is whether anybody is above the rule of law. And before I call in by introducing the forum judge to make his remark, the question is whether these rights donated to every Nigerian which is secured under Chapter 4 of the Nigerian Constitution, more particularly in Section 41, Sub 1 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, can anybody negotiate or compromise those rights? That is to say, it is within the window of Chapter 4 of the Constitution that the right to life, your liberty, your fundamental rights are anchored. Can anybody, by an agreement with another, agree that you'll be murdered and then the police will not be called? They call it that Governor Raji Fashola is writing a letter to a governor of another state and telling him that I have decided to bring some people home. I feel is a very critical issue and is a violation of the fundamental principles of our Constitution. Distinguished participants, I will now introduce the forum judge for this episode. Forum judge, sir.
Thank you, Mr. My name is NZUBE ONOCHIE. I am a resident in NZUBE and also in Lagos. Yes, People's Court as an idea may not be a new concept globally. I am aware of its existence in the United States of America and few other first world countries, where sessions are even televised as reality programs. This is a clear indication of its social acceptance as an effective medium of dispute resolution. But here in Nigeria, and arguably in Africa, it is a novel concept. As a matter of fact, it is a novel project pioneered and promoted single-handedly by an individual, Ifeanyichukwu Okonkwo, sitting next to me, who is clearly self-driven by an innate and genuine desire and determination to give voice to the voiceless, hope to the hopeless, and a platform to excel to the suppressed and intimidated members of our society. It is true that resolutions or judgments, as the case may be, are not justiciable or enforceable, but nobody can deny the fact that it provides an alternative platform for people in disputes to be heard. A greater percentage of disagreements derive from breakdowns in communication, or in some cases, inability to communicate or convey a position in a conflict. The resultant frustration can create sufficient tension capable of giving rise to an implosion in the social relations within the community. Therefore, this project provides a great opportunity to bring to the knowledge of the community at large events that are capable of undermining the peaceful coexistence of its members and also the social fabric. It follows the age-old principle in Igbo community that Nkoto Ogalanya ka Obubuya. This in itself is a powerful deterrence, perhaps more powerful than institutional punishments imposed by the judiciary. In my observation, the social stigma is more potent and difficult to wash off or ignore. Besides, in my opinion, a lot of these disputes cannot be adequately dealt by statutory institutions set up by law, either because it will be difficult to sustain a quest for redress in a court of law, or the institutions are out of reach of the disadvantaged members of the society. Therefore, you can imagine my delight when the promoter and the forum advocate, Ifeanyichukwu Okonkwo, accepted my request to participate as a forum judge in today's session of People's Court. It is a rare privilege for me. It is indeed an honor to participate in the promotion of reconciliation through dialogue as a medium of mediation in resolution of minor civil issues involving neighbors, family, friends, and communities, while also bringing focus on societal problems that should engage our attention as members of a large community.
We thank you so very much, the forum judge. Forum judge is a layman, he's an architect by profession, and he is interested in social justice and for us to interact and build our community. I will now call upon the forum judge to give his opinion on the public petition before the general audience, who are the jury, will now critically take a look at this issue and make their contribution before we will arrive at a decision on that public petition. Remember that you can submit a public petition on any critical issue. If the public petition submitted by you requires that the appropriate institution or appropriate department of government or agency will be put on notice, we will do that. That is the essence of the provisions of the Constitution that gives us the enabling platform to educate our people, as was rightly captured in Section 39 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended. Forum Judge, sir, could we please hear your opinion on the public petition, sir?
Yes. right of freedom of movement for any Nigerian, irrespective of tribe, is guaranteed under the Constitution in Section 41, subsection 1. Go and read it. Therefore, I am dumbfounded that the deportation of Nigerians from a particular section of the country to their purported ancestral state of origin could happen in the way and manner it occurred on Wednesday, 24th of July, 2013. It is particularly disappointing that this unconstitutional act could be initiated and executed by a respectable senior member of the legal profession in the name of Governor Fashola, SAN. It is also offensive that he and his cohorts in the ACM party have come out in open public debates to justify the action. It has to be said that our brothers, who up till now we had naively believed protected and upheld our interests in Lagos State and the ruling political party, had held brief for this dastardly act. This lends credence to the Igbo adage that Ikukukwe Afuika Okuko. These people are clearly in these places for their personal and selfish interests. I have held Dr. Chris Ngige in high esteem before these incidents and believed he was an Igbo leader like he had always proclaimed. It is clear now that he lacks the stuff and substance for leadership. I would now wish to make a clarion call to our best legal luminaries to rise to this challenge and bring all the people behind this illegal and unconstitutional act to book. It cannot be allowed to stand. It is a dangerous precedent, especially for Ndibo. If we do not act, it follows that you and I can also become a victim of any crass individual in government who dislikes you and or I for one reason or another and arranges to have you or I relocated in infringement of our fundamental human rights as protected in the 1999 Constitution, even with all its amendments. The last but not the least, His Excellency Peter Obi, the Governor of Anambra State, must apologize to Ndibo for being implicated in this sordid affair. He must redeem himself by acting to reverse this action, to demonstrate to all Ndibo in the Nigerian diaspora that the rights of any Igbo, and Nigerian for that matter, cannot be trampled on without grave consequences. After all, the Nigerian Civil War was fought for nothing.
Thank you, the forum judge. That is the opinion of the forum judge on this critical issue, petition brought in by Movement of Voice for Democracy. The people concerned are the 67 Nigerians who incidentally are targeted and profiled as Igbos and were dumped by the Lagos government at Onitsha last week. And the government of Lagos State came to justify that action on television and said that they wrote the governor of Anambra State and that our brothers who they termed and profiled as destitutes are entitled to be sent home, that they even consented to be sent home. Distinguished audience, you must look at section 41 sub 1 of the 1999 Constitution. That is the germane and the hinges upon which the violation has been captured and executed by Fashola. The critical issue is that these 7 individuals are nobodies, and who will fight for them? Me and you may be protected. But as the forum advocate, I have only asked the forum judge to give his opinion. I will now humbly request the presenter after his interlude to now call in the jury, which is you.
All right, the jury is you, and any moment from now, the talk lines will be open so you can air your view. Maybe we will continue this discussion some other time, but I hand over to the forum advocate, Mr. Ifeanyi Okonkwo. You're welcome, sir.
Distinguished citizens, the People's Court is now in session for the arbitration cases that are pending before this court. Citizens, the first petition we had that would have gone on this morning is petition number 7, which is Mr. Fabian Ugu against Enugu State University of Science and Technology, ESUT. That petition has been withdrawn by a text message this morning by the claimant, Mr. Fabian Ugu, who has indicated his interest that the case be struck out, that he's no longer interested in pursuing his petition. And as the forum advocate, I will strike out this petition out of the court list this morning, and we thank Fabian for the message he has sent to us that he doesn't want this petition anymore to now be brought to the public table. This petition is now struck out.
As the court pleases.
As the court pleases.
Distinguished citizens, the next petition before the court is petition of Ms. CHIOMA Veronica OKEME. This petition is brought by her as the claimant against First Bank of Nigeria PLC. And this is the facts of the case. The defendant, First Bank of Nigeria PLC, was duly served through the manager, Ogui branch, Enugu, by our courier service, Night Post Courier Service, on Thursday, 18 July 2013. And this is the case. My name is Ms. CHIOMA Veronica OKEME. I live at number 10 Ugweke Mike Road, Ababa, Enugu, and a student of Enugu State College of Education, Technical, as of the time of the incident. I opened an account with First Bank of Nigeria PLC, Ogui branch, Enugu, in 2008. I withdrew the sum of 35,000 naira from my account to pay my school fees, and my balance was 601 naira 13 kobo. After the withdrawal, in May 2010, my brother made a deposit of 4,500 naira into my account, which did not reflect when I went to the bank, First Bank Ogui Road branch. My brother, who sent the money, went back to the bank for inquiry, and he was told they are having problem with the account, but it was later sorted out. On 13th May 2010, I went back to the bank to withdraw money, and I was asked to wait, which lasted for 4 hours and nothing was done, and I left. I went back on the 14th of May again. They collected my ATM card to check something in their system, and still they did not pay me. On several occasions, I went back to the First Bank Ogui Road branch, but the problem was not sorted out. Later, I went to use my ATM card from the First Bank at Ababa, and the machine seized my card with a note that the card has been reported lost when I never made any such report. On the 17th day of May 2010, I went back to my branch to complain about my seized ATM card. At the First Bank Ogui Road, they started querying me on who paid in money into my account and from where. I told them it was my brother from Suka. They now told me that money was transferred into my account from Zenith Bank PLC and that the money was also withdrawn from ATM machine. I was surprised at what they were saying, and I told them I don't know anybody in Zenith Bank PLC. I was arrested and detained in Ogui police station for 4 days. My account details is hereby annexed. Show the money transferred from Zenith Bank PLC without any name. The ATM card number that was used to withdraw the money was different from my own ATM card number. Please, People's Court, I want the First Bank of Nigeria PLC to be exposed for how they have seized my money and ill-treated me by detaining me for 4 days at the police station Ogui. I want compensation for the trauma they made me go through and for denting my image. This petition was sent to the branch of the First Bank at Ogui Road. They refused to reply or state their own part of the case. That is the case against First Bank PLC by their Ogui branch, as made out by Miss CHIOMA Veronica OKEME, who lives at number 10 Ugweke Nike Road, Abapa, Enugu. The petition is now pending and is due for hearing in the People's Court. Distinguished citizens, before I proceed, I will call on the distinguished forum judge to give his verdict on this claim before the jury can now look at this case critically and see if they agree or disagree, or see if they want to adopt another judgment against First Bank of Nigeria PLC. Thank you. Distinguished forum judge, sir.
Thank you, sir. This matter is a classic case of the culture of impunity that exists in this country. This is a situation where a powerful institution, First Bank PLC, rode roughshod over the rights of a defenseless customer, Ms. CHIOMA OKEME, in the full knowledge that there is lack of willpower in the constituted authorities in our system to bring perpetrators to justice, especially perpetrators of Goliathian proportions. Ms. CHIOMA herself is not without blame. As a graduate of College of Education, I expected a lot more from her. At no point in her statement did she write to the bank or even approach a legal practitioner to engage the bank on her behalf. My instinct is that the bank took advantage of this lapse on the part of the customer and treated her in the disgraceful manner she alleges. In an ideal world where there is no room for impunity and zero tolerance for corruption, this matter is actionable in courts. Therefore, Ms. CHIOMA should approach the judiciary for redress and restitution. In the People's Court, however, in the absence of a reply from the bank, after service of the petition from the complainant. We are left with no alternative than to presume that Ms. CHIOMA's account of events is accurate and true. Therefore, I rule that she should be compensated by First Bank PLC for the infringement of our fundamental human rights following her incarceration.
Thank you, the forum judge. That is the verdict as seen by the forum judge. We will now ask the presenter to please call in the jury.
All right, someone is already on the line. Hello? Hello? Okay. Please remember to turn down the volume of your radio when you call. Don't forget that. Hello? Hello?
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, very good morning to you. You're welcome.
Yes, I listened to what happened to CHIOMA.
Please, what's your name, sir?
I'm very much when I'm speaking from NZUBE.
Okay.
Yes, I belong to the civil society. And then this petition should either go to the Public Complaint Commission. And because what we are discussing today about the powerful elements, and then she deserves the compensation, and then every Thursday at the network, she has to go out to the federal secretary and let her make a complaint. The Public Complaint Commission will not take over the matter, and then let people ready to, at least we have a global human rights this is Dr. Kind of car for, then we will take it up from there and see what's going to happen.
Okay.
It's not consultation, and then turn out this has been a media issue now. And then this might be a challenge to other banks in that sort of act. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you, not just for your beautiful contribution, for making it brief. All right, when you do calling, know that there are other people on the line trying hard to get into the people's heart line. Okay, 0815-9609134, 0815-243-7346. One of the things that People's Court is trying to do is to make you see that you have a say. It is you that will remain the jury for a very long time. Selected few have spoken for you, but it's obvious they are not speaking your mind, so you better speak up. Okay, we played you a song, get up, stand up for your right. God is not going to come down from heaven to fight for your right, so you better open your mouth and say what you think. A case has been brought, a case of impunity, an institution against one weak individual who, maybe incidentally from their perspective, cannot do anything. What does the people say?
Emails. The forum judge will read the entire verdict of the people on today's issue. Don't forget that your pronouncement and verdicts are quickly put on the internet for the world to know what is happening about your rights. Our verdicts will not just fizzle away. It will become a permanent record against any individual that we have brought to the People's Court and made a pronouncement upon. Now I humbly now bring in the forum judge to render the verdict before we now go to the winner of the radio for participation in today's episode. The Honorable Forum Judge, sir.
Thank you, Forum Advocate. The jury, thank you so much for your verdicts today. You have made my day by agreeing with all my verdicts. I dare say that I deserve a promotion as a Supreme People's Court Forum Judge. And I hereby canvass for that. Now, on the strength of the responses from the jury in respect of the unlawful deportation of our brothers from Lagos by Governor Fashola, SAN, I'm not sure if he deserves that. There is a clear consensus of unreserved condemnation of the action by Lagos State. The verdict is clearly that damages should be sought for all the individuals concerned. In addition, I would like to make bold to say that this incident is a clear notice to Ndibo that time has now come to activate their electoral strength in Lagos State. We have the strength in numbers and spread in Lagos to influence the composition of government. Without our involvement in the political administration of the state, we shall continue to be victimized. On the case with First Bank, I would have allied with the jury on the matter being referred to the Enugu State Public State Complaints Commission. But on one of the comments from one of the callers who seems not to share the efficacy of the commission in handling this matter, I would therefore recommend to CHIOMA that perhaps the best thing to do would be to refer the case to EFCC. I'm sure they will handle the matter better than anybody else. Thank you very much.
That is the verdict of the People's Court on the issues as presented. And I will use the opportunity to tell the participants in this People's Court edition that there is still more we can do. We are asking for the legal practitioners among us to wake up and start fighting for the people. The People's Court prepares this case file, and we advise and recommend that lawyers should come forward, because the movement for Voice of Democracy can provide financial resources for prosecution in court, in addition to the verdict that we also put in the internet. Distinguished participants in the People's Court, I will now announce the winners of the episode that have won our radio, special radio for active participation. Incidentally, because of the active participation of 2 members of the public, we have decided to expand the well of our magnanimity and award 2 radios for special edition today. The 2 radios go to Emmanuel from Ugwaji and EJIKE Wachimereze from Emene. The 2 of them are now entitled to be awarded our radio, and they can come to our office or send a representative with a written authority to collect their radio. These are the winners for the active participation in today's People's Court episode. We thank you for participating.